All right, welcome back. So let's do day three of our 30 days full stack web development training. So we have done day one, we have done day two, and in day one and day two, we actually divided them into three parts. We also did installation of Node.js and Visual Studio Code. So in day three, let's talk about conditions and logical thinking in computer programming. So conditions and logical thinking, this is very, very important to understand. If you don't understand this, you cannot even write a good program. When they talk about AI making decisions and all those things, this is the basic of it. Okay, this is the foundation. So conditions and logical thinking. Imagine if websites could not make decisions. Imagine if computer programs could not make decisions. Imagine if your website cannot check if somebody's if somebody is logged in or not logged in, if somebody is an authenticated user or not. All right. Imagine you try to log in and nothing happens. Okay, there's no way the website could actually do all these things if your website cannot make decisions. So your website needs to make decisions. Your programs need to make decisions. Okay, if you submit a form and there's no validation, so how does the website check for the validation of the form you're trying to submit? When you click to buy something on an e-commerce website, there is no confirmation. So how would the website fare? It will not make sense. So that would be chaos a lot. All right. So every smart application you use today relies on conditions and logical thinking, most especially AI. All right. Everything about computer is about logical thinking. Everything that the computer does is about logic. Everything that the computer does is logical. It's either true or false. It's either one or zero. That is what the computer does behind the scenes. Okay. So conditions and logical thinking. Today, we'll learn how JavaScript programs make decisions using the if statement, the else statement, and the else if statement. There are three concepts that JavaScript uses to make decisions and also to process logical thinking. The if statement, the else statement, and the else if statement. So we are going to understand this. By the end of this class, you're going to understand it. You're also going to understand how reward decision logic works. So by the end of this video, you will understand one of the most powerful concepts in programming. If you fail to understand conditions and logical thinking, you cannot program. All right. So what is logical thinking in programming? Logical thinking means making decisions based on rules or conditions. Based on a particular condition, you will do something. If it is raining, would you go outside? No. All right. If it is sunny, all right, would you wear raincoat? No. Do you understand? If you're hungry, that is when you will eat. Okay? If you're 18 years old, if you're not 18 years old, you cannot vote. So humans do this daily. Okay? If it is raining, you go out with an umbrella. If it is not raining, there's no need going out with an umbrella. They will see you as a fool. Okay? If your account balance is low, you cannot recharge. How do you even now? If you want to do transfer now, and your account balance is 50,000 naira, and you want to do an account a transfer of 60,000 naira, does it really go? No. Even 50,000, even if you add 1 naira or $1 or one whatever to it, it cannot go. That is how applications check all these things. They use logical thinking. If password is correct, then they will allow you to log in. If your password is not correct, they will not allow you to log in. So that's the basic of that. The concept of that is what we are going to be learning here. So programming works exactly the same way human beings work. Computers cannot think emotionally. Computers think logically. Computers follow true or false logic. Is it true or is it false? Computer does not know any other thing. Computer only knows is it true or false. Is it one or zero? Do you understand? So this is called the Boolean logic. Computer uses, if you studied computer science, all right, they will teach you this. Boolean logic is what the computer uses, either zero or one, true or false. Okay? Every condition results in, is it true or is it false? If it is not true, it will not go true. If it is false, it will not go true. If it's true, it will go true. So understanding conditions in JavaScript. Conditions allow programs to execute different actions depending on situations. Now, before you go on I continue this, I'm asking you, why haven't you subscribed to this channel? Why haven't you turned on notification? Have you not been getting value? Now, if you've been getting value, I want you to type in the comment section. Tell us exactly what you like about my tutorials. Drop it in the comment section, okay? And again, if you're enjoying this, like the video and share with your friends. Now, the thing is this, the more views I get on this, the more motivated I will be to do this. And again, why don't you help other people to also have access to this free class? Look at the way I'm teaching you as if you paid me. You don't pay me, and I'm teaching you like I teach my paid students. Okay, like the video, share, comment what you're enjoying about this tutorial. And with this kind of engagement, YouTube can actually make it available to other people so that they can also learn. So don't be stingy. Share with your friends, like and comment. Okay, subscribe if you have not subscribed. So JavaScript uses statements to check conditions. So JavaScript uses the if statement. Okay, so the syntax of the if statement is if, then there will be a condition, and there will be this. Now look at what we are doing here. So let me take you to my code. So I now let me start afresh. Okay, this is how simple if we use the if keyword. Look at what I did. This is the syntax. If, then in parentheses, you put in your condition. This condition would either evaluate to true or false. Then you put it, make sure that you have these curly braces. Okay, you can actually, let me make it look, okay, so this is the syntax. Okay, so if this condition is true, whatever that you have inside of this code, inside of this block of code will run. So if I say console.log, I will say is true. But of course, this condition should be something, if I say 12 greater than 9, this will evaluate, this is called a Boolean expression. Okay, now if you want, I have a full JavaScript tutorial for beginners, but it's actually for my paid students. It's actually for my paid students. But if I get 100 comments in this video, I am going to release a JavaScript series for beginners. In that series, I teach you everything one step at a time. I take time to explain things. So if I get 100 shares, 100 likes, and 100 comments in this video, I am going to create a JavaScript series for beginners. The course I have on my platform, I'm going to pull it out and put it on YouTube for free of charge. So now I am talking about Boolean expression. I am not going to explain what Boolean expression is, all right, because of time, but I explain these things in my paid courses. So if you engage, if I get 100 likes, 100 comments, and 100 shares, especially 100 shares, I am going to create a JavaScript series for beginners, and I'm going to drop that thing I give my paid students. I'm going to drop it on YouTube for free of charge. Okay, so if you want it, drop in the comment section. Say, yes, I want it. Yes, I want the JavaScript series. Now, this is a Boolean expression. So this will evaluate to true or false. So in this case, the question is 12 greater than 9? Yes, 12 is greater than 9. So this will evaluate to true. All right. So since this is true, this line of code is going to run. Okay. So if I go on now and save, and then I say node, oh, mistakes. Okay, that's the name of the file, node mistakes. You can see this line of code was able to run because this thing evaluated to true. But if I say is 12 greater than 19, what do you think will be the answer? This will evaluate to false because it is not true. 12 is not greater than 19. So if I go on now and run it again, you see, this line of code will not be printed. Okay, so if you want to conditionally um, execute a line of code, you use the if statement. Let's say now there is a line of code that you want to execute, but you want to execute it if something is true. If that thing is not true, you don't want to execute that line of code. That is where you use the if statement. Okay, so in this case, I have made a decision, and the decision is if this is not true, don't run this code. But if it is true, run this code. That is the condition. That is the decision I have made with the if statement. Okay, so let age equal to 18. So we have a variable declared age, and the value is 18. So we are saying is age greater than or equal to 18. That's exactly what I have done. So if this age, in this case, age is 18, so age is greater than or equal to, so this expression, this Boolean expression will evaluate to true. So that means this line of code will run. But if age was to be something like 16, so 16 is not greater than or equal to 18, it will not evaluate to true, and this line of code will not run. Okay, so if age is 18 or above, the line of code will run, but the message will appear, you are an adult. But if it is not, nothing happens. So we are conditionally running a line of code. So if I don't want to run a particular line of code or lines of code or block of code, I'll put it in an if statement. So if that condition evaluates to true, that block of code will run, else it will not run. So we also have the else if statement. So now this is it. If I want to run a line, if I want to, maybe I have two things I want to do. Okay, let's say if it is raining, I would go with an umbrella. Okay, let me give a better example. If okay, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I say if Liverpool wins today's match, I would declare drinks for all my friends. But if they don't win, my friends will buy me drinks. So you can see that I have two lines of code or two blocks of code or two things that I want to do, and I'm going to do one. I'm only going to do one. So if this is true, I will do this. If it's not true, I will not do this. So that is the if else statement. Sometimes we want an alternative result. Okay. So if this condition is true, run this code. Else, if it is not true, do this. So now let me go and show you with the Liverpool match thing. So I'm going to say, okay, so let's have a Boolean value. I will say um, LFC 1. Okay. So let me say, let's assume that the value is true. So I will now say LFC, if LFC1 is equal to true, then I will buy my friend's drink. I will say I'll console.log. Um, I will buy my friends drinks. So what if Liverpool loses? That means they did not win. So that means this would be. So now, if Liverpool wins the match, I'll buy drinks for my friends. But if they lose, okay, so that's the else. My friends will buy drinks for me. Okay. My friends will buy drinks for me. Okay, so now I have two alternatives. If this is true, this one goes. If not, this one. But both of them cannot go at the same time. Now, because of our value here is true, this will evaluate to true. So if I run this code, it's going to say I'll buy my friends drinks. But if I change this value to be false, for whatever reason, the value becomes false. Okay, if I run this code, you can see it says my friends will buy me drinks because this becomes false. So this is the if else. If this thing happens, do this. Else, do this. Do you understand? If this becomes true, do this. Else, if it is not true, do this. Okay. So we also have so we have this password. So this is let's assume that this is the user's password. So we are checking if this password is equal to this, right? Do this. If not, do this. So the main thing here is the condition. You see, the condition, that thing inside of the parenthesis, that is the main decider. So if it evaluates to true, the if statement will run. If not, the else statement will run. So let me go back to my code and show you something. This is the main thing here. If this value evaluates to true, this would run. If it does not evaluate to true, it will not run. So if this value, it could be a Boolean variable like this, or it could be a Boolean expression. Okay. So if the password matches in this our example now, then login will be successful. If not, we will send an error message to the user who wants to log in. So this is basically how websites actually check for your authentication when you want to log in into a website or even your apps. This is how they actually do it. So now we also have the else if. So if you have multiple situations to check, if this is true, do this. Else, if this is true, do this. Else, if this is true. So if you have, when you are checking multiple conditions, Now, in our case, so far we have been checking only one condition. This is the only condition we are checking. But if you have multiple conditions to check, that is where you now use the else if statement. So if this condition 1 is true, the first block will run. Else if the condition, second condition is true, this will run. Else if, okay, you can have multiple else ifs. So let me also change this. Let me also change this scenario, this our example here to else if. So let's assume now if Liverpool wins, if the score, all right, if okay, let's say now Liverpool is playing against LFC, their LFC, Liverpool scored 3, and then Arsenal scored 2. Of course, now Liverpool will win Arsenal now. Okay. All right. So now I want to make so many conditions. I want to say if Liverpool score, that means if Liverpool won, so if LFC is greater than Arsenal, okay, that means my friends will buy me drinks. Else, if, okay, else, if, look at what I'm doing. I'm having another condition here. Else if Liverpool scores scores more than 2 goals, all right, my friends will buy me my no, if Liverpool wins, okay, yes, if Liverpool scores more than 2 goals, I will buy my friends, I'll buy one, I'll buy, okay, let me just say I will buy I will buy just 2 bottles. Okay, so you can see I'm having multiple conditions here. Else if, okay, else if, I'm checking another condition. If Arsenal scores if Arsenal scores less than 1, okay, you can see I can do another thing here. So whatever I'm printing here does not really matter right now, but you can see. So these are multiple conditions that I'm checking, and I'm running block of code based on if this is true, this condition is true, condition 1, condition 2, condition 3. So we are using the else if statement here. So if Arsenal scores less than 1, okay, I would also I'll buy 3 bottles. Do you understand? So if none of this condition is actually true, that is where it will fall down um that's where it will fall down to the else statement. So if that means Liverpool did not win, so my friends will buy me drink. So my friends, my friends will buy me drinks. So you can see what I have here. I have multiple conditions that I'm checking. All right. So now we have 3, and we have Liverpool is 3, Arsenal is 2. So this is going to run. And once this first condition matches or is met, the other ones will not run again. Do you understand? So once 3 is greater than 2, that means Liverpool won the match because 3 is greater than 2. If I run this code now, it says I will buy my friends drinks. But if Liverpool's score is, let's assume that Liverpool did not win the match. Let's assume Arsenal also scored 3, or even Arsenal scored 4. Now, is Liverpool greater than 2? Yes, 3 is still also greater than 2. So I'm saying if Liverpool scored more than 2 goals, I will still buy my friends drink. Do you understand? You see, I will buy them 2 bottles. So this is the condition that was met. The first one was not met again because Liverpool is it's no longer greater than Arsenal. So the second condition was met. Do you understand? This is how it will be met, and we go on. So if Liverpool scores 1 and Arsenal scores 0, that means Liverpool still won the match. But Arsenal, okay, let's assume Arsenal less than 1. So let me say Arsenal less than 2. So even if Liverpool loses the match, let's say Liverpool loses the match and Arsenal scored only one goal. So this condition will not be met because Liverpool, this is not true. This is also not true, but this one will be true. Arsenal scored less than 2. 1 is less than 2. So I will buy just 3 bottles. Okay, if Arsenal scores less than 2, you can see it came down to I will buy 3 bottles. But if none of this is true, Arsenal um, scored 8. That means Liverpool is not greater than 2. Liverpool is not greater than Arsenal, and Arsenal is not less than 2. That means my friends will buy me drinks. So they will now fall down to the else. Every other condition was not met, so to fall down to the else statement. So I will save and then I would run. You see, my friends will buy me drinks because it fall down to the else part. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at example student grade system. So the student score here is 75. So if score is greater than 80, that means the student will say the student got excellent. If, all right. So we are checking on this score. Else if his score is greater than or equal to 60, we'll say it is just good. All right. So we are checking multiple conditions here. All right, we are checking multiple conditions here. But if none of these conditions were met, that means the student failed. So practice this, okay? Practice this. How does it work? JavaScript checks condition from the top to the bottom. I just told you that already. It will first of all check this condition. If this condition was met, then it will run this and then skip every other one. If this one was not met, it will come to this one, all right, then skip the next. If it was not met, it will come here. That is how it goes from top to bottom. So once one condition is true, it stops checking others. It will not check others. So age is 16. So if age is greater than or equal to 18, in this case, this will not be true because 16 is not greater than 18. So eligible to vote will not be there. So not eligible would be consoled. Okay, will be written to the console. So you can also check if a number is positive or negative. This number is negative. So if the number is greater than 0, that means it is positive. All right, but if it's not less, if it is less than, if it's not greater than 0, if it's less than 0, it is a negative number. But if it is not, if it's none of them match, that means it's a 0. It's either it's greater than 0 or it's less than 0. If it's not, if it's none of them, that means it is 0. So good programmers think like problem solvers. So if you want to be very good with web development, with computer programming, you have to be a good problem solver. Becoming a programmer has helped a lot, have helped me a lot thinking smart. Ask yourself, what condition am I checking? All right. Am I checking if age is greater than 18, or am I checking did Liverpool win or did Liverpool lose? Do you understand? Or did Liverpool score up to 3? Something like that. Then what happens if that condition becomes true? What code or what line of code do I want to run? Or what lines of code do I want to run? Then what happens if it is false? So if it is false, that means what do I want to do with it? So break problems into simple decisions. This is how you should be thinking as a programmer, okay? So common beginner mistakes using this instead of this. So I want you to go to my channel, look for common mistakes. Look for there's this playlist I have. It's called Intermediate Web Development Master JavaScript Mastery for Intermediate Web Development Mastery for Intermediate. All right, check for it. You will see I am making I have tutorial videos where I explain some common mistakes that people make. So this is not a conditional, this is not a Boolean expression. Age is equal to 18 will not ever evaluate to true or false. So this is wrong. The correct one is to use the equality operator, the strict equality operator. Okay. So forgetting to use curly braces. All right, this gives you a cleaner code. I can also, it's possible not to use curly braces, but please always use curly braces. All right, make sure that you're using curly braces. Checking if age is greater than 18 and less than 20. Okay, you can actually combine two Boolean conditions together, but that will come later on. Okay, this can never happen. So this is your practice. I want you to write programs that will check voting eligibility. So write a program that will check somebody's voting eligibility, check if whether a number is even or odd. I want you to think. All right. Do this program yourself. All right. I want you to check a program, write a program that checks students' grades. Practice. Okay. Write a program that will check somebody's login credentials. Practice builds real understanding. It is when you practice and make mistakes that you would understand. Okay. So If you understand today's lesson, you have taken a major step towards becoming a developer. I want you to comment day 3 complete in the comment section. Share this video, share this video, share this video. If you have not subscribed, subscribe, turn on notifications, like this video. So the next class will talk about JavaScript logical operators. The next class will talk about JavaScript logical operators. So we will talk about the and, the or, and the not conditions. Okay. So we'll also be writing we'll be writing smarter decision logic. So programming is like traffic lights. If the light is green, that means you can go. If the light is not green, if it is yellow, you should prepare. If it is red, you should stop. So this is the if else statement. So conditions control how programs behave. So thank you very much, and I will see you in the next class.